This is the Teacher Horizons website. I'm on the homepage to start with, so you can get an overview of what sort of interface Teacher Horizons offer. As you can see, there's a variety of drop-down menus at the top. For example, teaching abroad. You go straight to the jobs. Lots of information about the schools, many of which they have verified and they've visited. So the information they give is quite legitimate. Some good advice on job seeking and general advice to go with that. The section on salaries and packages is definitely worth checking out. It can tell you what you might want to expect in various countries, what might be available, and there's other links here to what also you might want to negotiate if you accept a job in the international sector. You may find that the highest paying salaries are in countries like Switzerland, Japan, whereas in Spain, salaries tend to be a lot lower on average. Middle East is always good salaries. They don't have China here, but also there are many schools in China which offer good packages. Moving on, they have a blog which is regularly updated, which I think just shows that we've got a professional player in the industry. If you look here, this was updated on the 26th of July. I'm making this video on the 29th of July. So it's very, very current. Okay, and you can see that they're drawing upon their partners, in this case the English Schools Foundation in Hong Kong, to come up with this information. And down the side you'll see there's lots of other blogs that you might want to check out and topics that you might want to read more about. If you were looking for a job in Central America, then it might be worth checking out their Central American blog section. Here we can see a little bit about who they are, find out more about them. Could be wise. A section for recruiters. It's not something I'm going to dwell upon now because I'm really dealing with information for potential candidates considering jobs in the international sector. So let's get back to the homepage and we're going to take a look at some of the jobs that they had advertised at the moment. Again, very simple drop-down box here where you can access the subjects where they may have job opportunities. And it's quite extensive. A lot of subjects which go across a number of different educational systems. So they're not just focused on the British or the American system. There are jobs advertised which may be specific to IB schools and American curriculum. So again, one of the strengths of Teacher Horizons is this all-encompassing strength that they have. Just have a look at arts and design, see what's here at the moment. Don't expect as many jobs as normal because of border closures, effects of COVID-19, etc. But you can see there's still an extensive number of jobs, 13 jobs matching the search. Many of them are in China and the Middle East. There's also a proliferation of international schools in India. Increasingly, you'll find jobs advertised for India. But here we see Brazil, which demonstrates the fact that they have this reach beyond which maybe some of their competitors have in the industry. From here, you can check out the roles for what particular sector you might want to work in, primary or secondary, and you can be more specific if you're a senior leader. The regions you might want to work in, and they do offer jobs in most of these places, probably all of them, I should say. Not so many in Oceania, by and large, because what you tend to find in Australia, New Zealand, like the United Kingdom, United States and Canada, English medium education is provided by the state, and there's a lots of independent schools alongside that. meaning that parents don't tend to send their children to international schools in the English-speaking world. It's kind of obvious, but it's worth pointing out. I like this. You can divide it by system. So for me, I'd often check the British system because I'm originally from England. My qualifications are associated with the English National Curriculum. But I've also worked in a school with an American curriculum, so it's worth me keeping my eye on that. But you can also see, if you fancy working in the French or German international systems or international, there are checkboxes here. International will include a lot of international baccalaureate IB schools for PYP, MYP, or the diploma program, and it just saves you having to go through every job. If you know that you want a job in a particular type of school, you can cut to the chase. Going back to subjects. So you don't have to go back to the home page. You see I just deleted art, and then I come here. And for me, I will often scroll down to here, social sciences, because that's my subject area, and I'll just check what's around. Sometimes in the context of recruitment as well, because as well as being a teacher, I'm also a senior leader in an international school. So this is one of my favorite sections. I check senior leader, and I like this because you can see all the jobs for senior leader. Now, right now, there's only heads of section available because for executive head, assistant heads, vice principals, deputy heads, and the like. So you don't necessarily have to go into all the different roles and then sorting it by what type of leader you want to be. Now, this may seem like something which is not that important, but I find it's very, very useful because in my position, I might be looking for potentially, when I leave my current employer, a headship, stroke principal, vice principalship in a big school, where it would be a step up in terms of my career, or potentially head of secondary, similar circumstances in a bigger school, or somewhere I particularly want to work on a stage of my career where I want to work is quite a big influence on me. So for me, Sub-Saharan Africa, that's slightly odd because Nigeria was there before, but it's normally very good. And you can also sort by when the job starts, when you must apply by, when they last updated the website. So excellent functionality. And you see, I've done all of this so far without signing into their website. This is all without signing in. This is a very useful section and something which isn't that common on other recruitment agency websites in the international sector. You can actually take a look at the subject areas where teachers have sent their details to Teacher Horizons and been through their interview process with one of their advisors to find out if the candidate is viable. Their interview back to art and design. So countries of qualification, it is a little bit kind of Anglophobic in terms of language, with English language. It's a whole nother blog as to why it's these particular countries. Someone who's worked in Sub-Saharan Africa, I do find that there are many, many very well qualified and experienced international teachers who have qualified in their host country and have exceptional levels of English. And that can be the case in the countries I've worked in. It's the case in Zambia, in Malawi, certainly the case in Zimbabwe. South Africa is there. Also in West Africa. countries like Nigeria and Ghana, where people have exceptional levels of English. And similarly, Uganda. Ugandans purported to have the best levels of English of all sub-Saharan Africans. And there's nothing here from the Caribbean, which again are English-speaking countries. But this is because of demand and supply. I understand that, but it frustrates me a little, a lot. So most of the systems offered in international schools will be British, American, occasional Australian and Canadian. Irish teachers generally have eminently transferable skills to the British sector, as do New Zealanders. So over here you can see the people who have sent in their information to Teacher Horizons are actively seeking roles in international schools. So if I'm a recruiter, I can look to where people are qualified from. I can look at their educational backgrounds and their experience. Let's have a proper look at the functionality of the Teacher Horizons website once you have signed in and you have an account. So you can see here, I'm now properly signed in. And there's a few useful tools here which you can check out. Now, in terms of the job search, let's see what might be different. Going back to art and design. Without being signed in, if I were to click on this role, it will just tell me I need to sign in or to create an account. Now I have an account. In another tab, it will give me a lot more details about the job. So in this case, it tells you the name of the school and location in Guangzhou, in China, Fettes College. And it's a supported vacancy. But as you can see, it's not being visited by Teacher Horizons, and it's not yet endorsed. Teacher Horizons will, where possible, visit schools and be able to then endorse them that they are credible. Now, the fact that they haven't is because this is a new school and they won't yet have had the opportunity to visit. That's Shanghai, interestingly enough. That's not Guangzhou. So, as you see, when they want the teacher to start and when you should apply before. The timescales aren't normally that close together, but I think COVID-19 has changed a lot. And incidentally, if you're not in China right now, you're unable to enter the country, although the situation does seem to be getting better. And employers may make an arrangement with you to keep a job open, maybe you do some online learning for the first period of time before you can enter. So lots of information about Fettes College and what they want. And then if you wish to apply, you can express an interest through Teacher Horizons and use the agents that they will supply you with in order for a follow-up. It's more than likely they'll get in touch with you in the short term, have an initial conversation with you, particularly if you're new to their website and you've recently signed up and they're unaware of your background and experience and they just want to talk through your CV. As you can see, they don't have the information to contact the school directly because you applied through their website. Now, there are other websites within the industry where you can apply directly to the school. There are pros and cons. Having an agent working on your behalf can be incredibly useful if it's a good agent. I've been recruited for my current job, in fact, through Teacher Horizons, and I found their service to be fantastic. They liaised with the school up until I was onboarded, and even when I was in the hands of the HR office at my current school, they still checked that everything was going smoothly. And you can see here that other jobs that you may also be interested in China if you're just browsing through. So other information they will have, key details. So it tells you a little bit more about the school. That is actually the school. Like I said, there's not so much information about this particular school because it's a new school. Okay, this vacancies will be for that particular school. Salary you may expect. Life in the city. Guangzhou is one of the largest cities in China. You can see where it is from their website. Close proximity to Hong Kong, which is quite useful for international teachers. It's a very thriving area down here. Guangzhou is a huge city. It's a huge port city. And Shenzhen is also a thriving city in modern China. So some information about what to expect if you were to apply for or take a job in Guangzhou. It's very hot at the moment. Not sure about the humidity in Guangzhou. Shanghai is very hot. So that's one example. Let's take a look at one other example. So let's see, what should we look at? Let's look at English. There'll be a lot of jobs in English. Again, India, China, Vietnam. Vietnam can be quite tricky in the short term. Again, they've not had a lot of cases of COVID-19, so they've been very cautious of opening their borders. Jobs in Malaysia, Myanmar, so quite a lot in Southeast Asia. Egypt. There's always lots of jobs in Egypt. Lots of schools in and around Cairo. As we go through Argentina, which again indicates that they do have a global reach, Teacher Horizons. Let's have a look at this job in Argentina. So this school is a supported vacancy and has been visited by Teacher Horizons, and they're very impressed by what they found there. And you can see a beautiful campus. It's actually a very, very well-established school, St. George's. Probably the most famous school, international school in Buenos Aires. Quite restricted to where you can come from in terms of your visa. That could be because it's more difficult to obtain a visa from another country. It does say other, so if you are from another part of the world, you don't necessarily need to give up. You see, it's an IB school straight away. Because it's a teacher of English, main scale, it may be that it's worth applying even if you haven't taught in an IB school at all before, but you may find that if there's candidates with IB experience, they may be prioritised. It's a 3 through 18 school, which I always find great for developing professionally. As a secondary specialist, I've learned so much from working in through schools where I've been able to interact with early years and primary teachers with fantastic pedagogy. So such a school can be quite highly recommended. So again, you can find out much more about the school. You don't need me to go through every detail. Maybe you're just wondering what happens if we do crack this button. Okay, so thank you for your interest. Because I have signed up and I'm a member, I can apply 4 or 5 jobs at a time. I haven't got any pending applications. So if I agree, I just need to click there and confirm and apply, and that will go to the agent at Teacher Horizons. Otherwise, I think I've probably fairly much covered it. Obviously, when they do reviews from teachers, they will be cherry-picked, but to my mind, and not just from my own experience, but from colleagues who've used their services, They are definitely one of the best in the industry. Schools like them. They're not cheap, but that's probably an indication of the quality of service that they offer. This is the foundation that I actually work for. We use them. And they have a number of advisors. So, again, an indication of the scale that you benefit from. The fact that there's a whole load of advisors, come back to the same ones again, does mean that you are likely to get a decent service. But they need that. They're dealing with this number, 588 of live teaching opportunities right now. And again, this is not normal. It would normally be a lot more. So you can imagine how busy they're going to be in October and November when the jobs market really opens up. And finally, let's have a look at the map. You know, all the time I've used this website, I've never used the map for my searches. So where should we take a look? Let's have a look in France. Okay, so it zooms in on Europe. And you can see from Spain, 62 of 4 jobs. France, 27 schools, no jobs available at the moment in France. They have 29 schools in London. There are international schools in the United Kingdom who will offer particularly international baccalaureate programs, albeit the independent sector tends to overlap with the international sector. And you can see the reach across Europe. So, in summary, I wholeheartedly recommend Teacher Horizons. To my mind, they may be the best in the industry for teachers. The big plus is that their service is free. If you go to some of their competitors, such as the International Educator Online, you pay $30 just to be able to utilize their service. If you want the full benefits of Search Associates, you can pay even more than a couple of $100 to be able to get the full service from their advisors. Teacher Horizons offer it for free. In a sense, it's even free for schools because it's free up until the stage that you recruit. So you're only going to pay the money if you find the right candidate. So like many schools will use more than one recruitment agency, particularly when their service is free up front. And if you find the perfect candidate who's the best fit for your job, then you don't mind paying out the money afterwards. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. I hope it's been helpful. Please leave comments in the comment box. Please like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be reviewing lots of websites in the international sector, looking at recruitment and offering advice to teachers who are seeking jobs in the sector. So please subscribe. This is the first one of a series.